What's up guys? How you all doing? Hey, welcome to another Maker Monday. It's been a while, I know, so I apologize for the Maker Mondays being a little slow, but also I've been releasing quite a few different videos, so I hope that that has taken care of things in the interim. So I'm going to try to get back to the normal schedule where we have Maker Mondays again, and Wednesdays I try to release a video of some sort. So anyway, back on schedule, what we're going to be looking at today is we're going to be looking at, as the title says, stencils and how they are used in PCB fabrication and design, and how you can get a stencil and do a lot of the upfront soldering and layout and whatnot using a stencil. So before we get started though, I want to give a huge shout out to our friends over at JLC PCB. They have given us the PCBs as well as the stencil custom cut for the PCB today. So I want to give a shout out to them. They are a PCB fab house for all your PCB and stencil needs. They have great prices for proto runs, and today if you order now you get shipping on your first order free, so definitely go check them out and make sure and get your first order because you will get it free. The pricing is great, and I will say they do a fabulous job. I was didn't know if they were going to do very well because the cost of the boards were so low, but honestly, and I'm not saying this just because, you know, they're sponsoring the video, they really do. I love when I get sponsors that sponsor videos and they have stuff that is awesome. So it is really cool. They do have low prices, good quality boards, and good quality stencils. So let's go ahead and get into it. What a stencil is. What is a stencil? Basically, when you have surface mount components, okay, like I have on here, now not all of it's surface mount, but a lot of it is, like all these components here, sometimes they are hard to hand solder. So what is made, a lot of times you can have a stencil made. It's basically a mask that masks off everything but the actual pads that you're going to be soldering to. So what a stencil is mainly used for is in automation. Usually when they have picker place machines and automated reflow and things like that, stencils are a must. However, for those of us that are home hobbyists, for those of us that are home circuit board manufacturers, it can make the layout process and soldering process a whole lot simpler. All you need is you will need a putty knife or something to spread solder paste with, and of course you'll need some solder paste. Now this, I believe I got it on Amazon a while back. This is 3033-85 no clean solder paste. And so what it is it's actually solder, but it's in like literally a solder paste form. It's like a goop that you can squirt out. And when you hit it with some hot air or basically run it through a reflow oven, it will then reflow and it'll melt and it will actually solder everything down. So it's actually solder in paste form. Now if you ever do buy some of this and you need to store it, you do not store it at room temperature. You store this, I know it sounds weird, but you store this in your freezer. If you store it in your freezer, it will not hurt the integrity of the solder paste. So make sure that if you ever order solder paste, you store it in your freezer and not just leave it in your bench somewhere. Now, so as I said, so the solder paste doesn't just go everywhere, you can have a stencil made. Now this is where I am impressed with JLC PCB. Normally I've seen the little plastic stencils. In fact, I even have one that I actually used in a different video, but you get these, they're a little plastic one, but as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, there is some little holes in it for a pad. But anyway, you can get these little plasticky ones. These are great, but the problem is after you scrape over it with something, to scrape the solder enough times, it'll actually tear after a while. And so that can be a problem. So the stainless steel ones are actually the best. These will last for like ever. They are just incredible. And I was actually totally amazed at the pricing. I thought that JLC PCB was making me one of those plastic suckers, and no, they were making one of these nice stainless steel ones. As you can see the holes. It's very reflective, so I apologize for that. The bench lights are kind of getting to it. But they actually sent me a stainless steel one, and that is the ones you get when you order it through JLC PCB. It's pretty easy. You just upload your PCB design just like you would build a PCB with, except you just choose the option for you want a stencil, and you'll get these stencils. Now, What they have done is they have also done the front and the back, so there's actually 2 sets of holes. I don't know if you can see that. Turn it kind of at an angle. You can see there's some stuff right here, stuff right there. This is actually the board, basically the front and the back of the board. Shoot, okay? So how you set up a stencil. All right, we're gonna do one side. What I usually do, if I'm gonna set up a stencil, let me move that out of the way for right now, is I get some spare PCBs, like if you've ordered a whole bunch, get some spare PCBs. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set these out because you want the thickness to be the same thickness as the PCB. I set these out kind of in the spot where the stencil's gonna go, okay? So I usually put, we'll put a few of these out, you know, and you can just do this with spare PCBs. You just have to make sure that they're the same thickness. So like these are all 0.62 thickness, 0.0662. So you just got to make sure that they're all the same. And so that way your stencil will lay down uniformly. Now, here's the hard part. Let me see if I can zoom in on all this. Let's see if I can zoom in. Okay. So now it helps if you have the PCB the right direction. But now I've got all of my holes pretty well lined up. You may have to turn and twist the stencil to get it to line up. So I don't know if you can see that, but see how you can see the copper through it and everything's lined up? Now, to make sure that it stays lined up, what I usually do is I usually get some tape. So I'm gonna grab some masking tape, the same tape that you can use like for whatever it is, 3D printing and all that stuff. So just grab some blue painter's tape or something that you can kind of stick the sides down with. I usually take and tape my stencil in place once I've got it nailed down, so that way it doesn't slide around on me, see? Because I'm gonna be putting, not a ton of force, but I mean, I'm gonna be putting some force on this thing. So I wanna make sure that I have it good and secure. Now, another thing is you want to make sure that your stuff, you have some PCBs that will stick out where you can tape it down without actually warping it, because if you warp it, it can heave up and you don't want that to happen. So give it a couple more pieces here, stick down the corners here is what I'm trying to do now. All right, so that is pretty nice where I can drag across there. There we go. That's nice and good. Okay, so now solder paste time. So see if I can't maybe zoom in. And you can make a mess with this. That's totally fine. You know, messes are great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit started. Let's see. There we go. This is awfully cold. The colder it is, the harder it is to squirt it out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to squirt some of this out. I'm going to squirt it kind of, and be very hefty with it, you know? Just put this stuff everywhere. So we got that all gooped up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and scrape it, just like that. Take the leftovers if you need to. Take some leftovers and scrape it right over. No problem at all. If we take up our tape, off of here. Okay, so now let's see what we got. So we're gonna lift the stencil off, okay. There we are. And let's zoom in and let's take a peek at it here. Now, you're gonna see some smudging. Is this gonna focus? This might be too far away. Let me lift it up to the camera, because I may be too far away from it. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so you may see that it's kind of smudged a little bit. It's kind of smudged everywhere. Don't worry about that. When it reflows, it will reflow correctly, okay? So even though it's a little smudged, it'll be all right. It will reflow. So that's basically all you have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this over to the bench, and we'll go ahead and we'll drop some parts down and we'll solder it. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and set this up on a box so maybe I can get a little closer. I'm gonna go ahead, and your surface mount parts usually come in a reel like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get one out here. The reason they're in a reel like this is because it's for like a picker place machine. So let's go ahead and see how far we can zoom in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this down on top of the solder paste. Get it somewhat lined up best we can. There we go. So that's pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hot air rework gun. Okay. So I've got my little hot air gun here. Okay. And it's warming up on me. So I've got this set to, I've set it for about 230 degrees. We'll let it heat up to that. I like to kind of warm up the board first. So I kind of go around in a circle, kind of just warming up the board, getting it ready. Kind of helps with any kind of warpage or anything like that. And then once it gets to 230, which is about 230, I then kind of blast the part, and I just kind of go back and forth, and you watch it with your eyes and you can see it reflow. And I can't remember this, there it's starting on that corner. There they all go. All right, there we are. Focus. I don't know if you can see that, hopefully you can. But it's nice, good solder. And it's shiny, even as I look at it, it's shiny. So we got a good solder. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how you use solder stencils, all right, guys? So please check those out. It actually helps a lot. Like when you're doing fine pitch stuff, it definitely helps to have a solder stencil such as this. And like I said, hats off to JLC PCB. They give you stainless steel ones. This will last for, you can't tear this. I mean, it's pretty darn thick. Awesome stuff, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe and share. Make sure that you definitely hit the subscribe button because we're coming up on 10,000 subscribers. It's just absolutely mind-blowing to me. Thank you so much for the support. But 10,000 subscribers, when we get to 10,000, I'm gonna have a very special live stream in which we're gonna be giving away all kinds of cool goodies. I mean, I think I even have a Raspberry Pi to even give away during that. And we're gonna do it live right here. So definitely hit that subscribe button. Definitely share the videos, share with friends and relatives, anybody that would be interested in this kind of stuff. Get them to subscribe so that way we can have our 10,000 subscriber live stream. And like I said, there is gonna be plenty of prizes to go around. We will have lots of different prizes, everything from little small things, sensors and such, all the way up to, I'll probably give away a Raspberry Pi on the channel as well to anyone who is a part of the live stream. So definitely subscribe and get others to subscribe. So guys, that's it. I've used up all of our time. Thanks for watching. Check me out on all the social medias. It's down there in the description and all that jazz. And guys, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.